into the garden in June of 2022. I'm doing a quick early June vlog to make up for the fact that I completely didn't make any video for May. There has been some progress since April. Finally, the greenhouse is up, so I think I want to start today by doing a quick greenhouse tour. So it's a bit messy because things are still very much settling in, but here it is. So far I have this frame set up with strawberries and 4 different tomatoes that I planted out today. So the tomatoes I bought as plants. I didn't sow them myself because I have 2 tomato plants that I sowed myself, and they are gigantic and I don't know how to get them up here without killing them, so I bought some smaller plants so that I would have some tomatoes. And I'm also curious about the different types, so I bought this is the Marmande, which is beef tomato, I think it's called. It's a big red tomato. And then I got green zebra, then an orange type, and a red cherry tomato. So those are the tomatoes. Okay, and then I have my bokashi dirt factory in here. So it's just a mixture of bokashi compost and soil, because the issue is that I can't really do stuff outside with bokashi because of the badger, so we'll get back to that later because there's been some major badger damage. And then just lots of plants, some hanging strawberries. These are mostly flowers waiting to get planted outside, because I'm going to make a border on the outside here, outside edge of the greenhouse, with perennial flowers. You can see the material for it is already here. So yeah, perennial flowers are going there. So most of these things are going there. But there are some annual flowers as well, and some edible stuff that will go different places. And then I got a grape vine from my uncle. So this I plan, because it's so cold here, I plan to plant it in the soil, probably there in that corner I think, and then let it climb up here. I've never done anything with grapevines before, so I don't know if that's a good idea. Maybe it would be better to let it like go up and then along the ceiling here. And it's grown tons just since it came here, so it seems like it grows really fast. And then I, for the first time, also am doing some dahlias. So I have 2. I don't know the varieties, but no, I do. So this is Mary Evelyn, and then the other one is over here, Bishop of Dover. So excited to try that. On this shelf it's still just more plants. This is my compost. This will not be a compost pile forever, because on the ground here I've tried to cover up the grass as much as possible, but it's still quite weedy, and so slowly over the years I plan to turn the entire greenhouse. I want to have beds to grow directly in the ground, but it will take some time to get there. So I have that one to start with, and then the compost here will just be a way to kind of build up some material in here, and when that is finished I hope to like take away the edge and then just kind of spread it out a bit. We'll see, but the plan for this year is that I will be growing cucumber and melon in here. So the way I've done it is I've taken a bucket, so this is a broken bucket, the bottom is missing, so it's just like a tube sort of, and then I've put good soil inside it, and then I planted my cucumber plant in here. This is like a lemon cucumber. So this is just to avoid using too much dirt to have around the cucumber plant itself. And then I've also planted some cornflowers here just because they desperately needed to go somewhere. Yeah, and I think this will also help because the compost is very raw and dry. I think the bucket thing will help it just this spot be a little bit wetter. I've sown some rocket here. I'm gonna move that, but it's just there for now. So I think that's pretty much what is interesting in here. So then we can move on. It's raining outside. I built this is the trash corner. I hope to get this stuff away soon, but this is my new compost area, so when the compost in the greenhouse is filled up, then I'm going to continue filling up this, and then I want to expand it in that direction over time. All the material is stuff that was lying here, and some of it is a bit rotten, and some of it is just very nice but too short to really use for anything else. It was a nice way to use up that stuff. Okay, so then we can take a look at the stuff outside. So I am struggling with having enough space for everything this year, so some things I've just kind of planted in random places. So this is where I had like a woven thing last year. It's no longer there, and I initially just planned to let it turn into grass again, but I needed somewhere I had 2 extra squash plants, so now I'm growing squash there. I don't think it'll be super successful, but it's better than just throwing them away. So, and then here is a new frame. So this one is also kind of a mess right now, and it's a bit weedy, although actually most of the green stuff is things I've planted. So I'm growing squash. This is my like for real squash bed. So I'm growing 2 different types of squash and the same type of cucumber, lemon cucumber, that I'm growing inside the greenhouse, but I just want to see how it does outside here. So I have 2 of each variety. There are 4 squash plants here. So we'll see how they do. Like I said, the soil here is weedy and there's a lot of sticks and seaweed and stuff that's composting now, but we'll see. And then I've also sown a lot of like green manure stuff, so there's some red clover, some peas and sunflowers and cornflower and nasturtiums. I think this is marigold. Hopefully either the squash will succeed or the flowers will succeed, so something should be able to survive. Then this bed is for potatoes. The potatoes have just started to come up, so there's some dirt under here, but I've covered it with leaves and seaweed, and it's a bit weedy as well, so this isn't the best place, but that's why I'm growing potatoes now, in order to kind of try to choke out some of the weeds and break up the soil a bit. And then in the next one I have my cauliflower and cabbage bed. So there are some different cauliflower types, a purple one and an orange one, and then there is this Calibos cabbage. It's a red cabbage. There's one plant there and another plant there. So here actually it's not so easy to see, but there's a big hole there, and that's from the badgers, and I've also planted flowers in here. But yeah, so the badgers have actually gone in here and just dug tons, so that wasn't great. But the plants seem, other than the flowers, the plants seem to have survived, so that's okay. And then this is kind of a mixed bed. So I have some more cauliflower plants that I didn't have room for in the one with the net on. So I don't really care so much about them, and I might remove them eventually, but for now they can live there. The main thing growing in this bed that's actually not visible at all is the Jerusalem artichokes. So they are not super visible, but they're actually coming up just barely. So this is one. So this half of the bed is filled with Jerusalem artichokes, but they're kind of slow to come above the soil. So for now I'm growing a lot of different like kale and nasturtiums, and this is some kind of, I'm gonna have to check what this, so there's a row here and it's some kind of brassica, but you eat the root, so I guess it's like a big radish sort of. Hopefully they finish growing before the Jerusalem artichokes come up, but there's some space between the Jerusalem artichokes anyway, so they can probably live next to each other. And then these are like daikon radishes. They get really long. I'm growing them mainly to improve the soil, so I might not even eat them. I might just let them be and rot and become compost in the soil. We'll see. Maybe eat some and let some stay. And this is also a new bed. So this is my perennial edible stuff. So there are some wild strawberries on the front along with some nasturtiums, and then there is in the middle a row of asparagus. So I bought one plant, and then I bought I think 3, yeah, there should be 3 like root, like these things, I don't know what they're called, but just like the asparagus root, and they seem to all be doing pretty good, so I hope they come up soon. So there's one there, and one there, but they're all the same type, they're all this gin lim. And then there are some chives here, baby chives. And they're just here temporarily to kind of grow up a bit, and then I'll move them somewhere else, I don't know where. And then in the back row I have perennial alliums plus some orange annual flowers, just because again I needed somewhere to put them. So the alliums are Chinese chives, or garlic chives, I don't know. I think it's the same thing. And then I have a lot of this prairie onion. So there's one plant there, and then there's a tiny plant there, and a medium plant there, and a medium plus plant there. And then my favorite of all of them is this beautiful plant, which is a victory onion, which is a super fascinating plant. And it's so beautiful, and it will get flowers soon. And the flowers are beautiful, and the leaves are beautiful, and it tastes amazing. It has very much a garlicky flavor. So I'm really excited about that and really looking forward to it growing a bit. It's a bit difficult to grow from seeds because it's a bit slow and the seeds take some time to germinate, but it's very easy to just divide the established plants like you would with other perennial plants. So I got this from a woman who I used to cat sit for, and she again got it from her mom. And what's really interesting with this plant is that you find it more in northern Norway than in the south of Norway, so it's a very hardy plant. So anyway, super fascinating plant. Very happy to have it here, and I hope to give it a good home and that it eventually will multiply. So these 2 frames, I've kind of changed my mind about them. I'm not super happy about the way they look because they're kind of the first thing you see when you come here, and I think they look kind of shabby. So the plan is to move them, but before I can move them I need to find new homes for all the plants, and things are so crowded here now, so I don't know where to put the plants at all. So they're staying for now, but soon hopefully they will move, and my plan then is to, because there's kind of a square shape here in this corner, and my thought is that it would be really pretty with kind of a fruit tree of some kind. Not a large one, but maybe just some small variety, maybe like a cherry tree. I think that could be really pretty to have that like centered in this square here, and then maybe like a circle around it or something. It makes it a bit easier to walk because, yeah, it's not great. These are kind of blocking a natural path, so a tree would make it a bit easier to walk, and yeah. So most of these plants will probably be going to frames along the front here. So I have this one, but this one has been massively attacked by badgers because I buried bokashi compost here, so it's my own fault, but it's been turned over, and you can see the sticks that I buried in the bottom have been brought up to the top. So now I've planted strawberry plants here, and I'm planning to put some kind of fence or netting on the top to try to discourage them, and then just hope that they don't go in another time. But I'm planning to make another frame, so there will be 4 here in total when I get this stump removed. And then one of them will be for the herbs. But they're growing really well, or at least this one, which is a horse mint. And then I have lots of lemon balm, which is also doing great. And then I have some perennial flowers that are staying here just until the thing on the front here is done. Yeah, so these aren't edible. Yeah, none of these are edible. But this is oregano, so that's edible, and then there's a mint here, and some kind of hyssop, I think it's called. I'm so happy that this is doing so well here, because it gets really beautiful flowers, and I don't really eat it, although you can eat it or use it for tea, but the flowers are really nice. Okay, let's take a quick trip to the lower garden, which is looking very shady right now. Here are the raspberry plants now. It looks like my yellow raspberry didn't make it. I don't know, the bark is like peeling off and there aren't any new shoots here. So I think it's that, but we'll see. It can be there a bit longer. The red one, Glen Ample, I think that's like the most common one, at least here. Doing super well. And then there's the purple, which I think is called, Glen Co. Looking kind of dead at the bottom, but then this one stick has life and even some flowers. So, still alive for now. So our pond is kind of drying up. We have a tiny turtle. So cute. A friend of mine managed to finally free this rusty fence thing from the ground because it had kind of grown in here, but she pulled it out. So as soon as we can get a car here, we're gonna take that with to the trash place. That will be great. Here in this protected ring, this is a wild garlic. It's just on flowering, and my hope is that it's going to spread its seeds so that I'll get a few more plants. I plan to just kind of let it go wild. Don't plan to weed, because the time of the year that the wild garlic flowers and is really the most important time is in the spring, and in the spring there isn't really any weeds here at all. It's just like bare ground. So I think it's a great place for it, and I don't think I need to do anything other than just remembering not to step on it. And then among the weeds here is the red champagne rhubarb. It's growing, and here is the native rhubarb that was here when we bought the place. So this I think should be, oh, it's so pretty, super red. So I'm thinking we will be able to harvest from this in not too long. I think in the last video I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do with this place, but now I think this whole area down here doesn't really work for like potatoes and typical annual crops. So what I'm going to do is try to kind of make more of a shadow garden here. So for now this is a nursery for lots of rhubarb plants. So yeah, just tons of different rhubarb. And then this is also a very temporary spot. I want to make, I've bought some more of those circles, so my plan is to make kind of a lot of smaller circles down here. I think that would be really pretty, and kind of like, so my design idea is that the circles kind of mimic the circle of the pond, because it's very circular, especially when it's full, and that would be more of a like natural look as well, to just have these like little bubbles of plants. So when I get time I'm gonna make more circular beds, and then I have a hosta here. That's, oh, and there. Okay, that's strange. I thought I planted them like, and here's another hosta. Okay. Maybe these are together. But anyway, there are at least 2 hostas here. And then over here there's a hellebore. So this is a white hellebore. Looks like that. And then over here is should be right here, but nothing's coming up. So I hope it's alive. Okay, but hopefully another hellebore should be coming up here. Then another hosta. And then next to the hosta, there are 3 foxgloves. This one, I hope will flower this year. Yeah, maybe we even get some flowers down here this year. Overall, I'm really happy with the greenhouse so far. It is so nice to be there, especially in days like this when it's raining and it's warm in there, and it doesn't even dry out so fast. The plants seem to, yeah, have the moisture that I need. I'm guessing it's because if you compare to like the plants that are in pots outside, they dry out very fast because of the wind, whereas here there's no wind. And it's quite moist in the air, so there isn't really anything to dry them out so fast.